Good evening, everyone. It is 8:30. Hello, hello. Good to see you guys jumping in here. I'm going to check my phone for some last minute updates and see. Yes, okay. Good morning. Oh, good morning. Good evening, everyone. I'm multitasking right now. Some Zooms have started. Nice for you guys to be jumping on here. If you are a guest here, welcome to our huddle. Thank you guys for jumping in here and, as we say, kind of being a fly on the wall to be a part of this community. We are a group of people from all over the world that come together each week to help and move not only our family but all of our families forward. It's real. It's something that we take serious, and I think for the guests that are here, you'll see in the next few minutes with us exactly how we're doing that. So I'll take an eye look at the chat. Thank you guys for getting in there. Virginia's here. Welcome. Let's see, what city in Virginia? Okay, is that Accomack? How would you pronounce? Amy, how do you pronounce that?
That's it, Brandon Accomack.
Accomack. Where
You're
is?
one. You're one of the few.
Well, that's
Yeah, yeah.
really odd because I have a habit of really destroying names, right,
You did
Kyla?
great. Thanks.
Well, welcome. PA
Thank
is
you.
here. It was nice, Hannah. It was so nice to see you last week in that room. That was fantastic. A little rainy night up there. Mr. Jaime Morales is here from California. So good to have you here, man. Team is going to be excited to be able to learn from you as well. Louisiana is here. Virginia, Michigan. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Nice to have you guys with us tonight. All right, it's 2 minutes after 8:30 over here, so let's get this thing going. As usual, we start these out with wins for the week. I have an actual win this week. I don't normally share wins, but this one was pretty good last week. For those that are kind of like unknown for what we do with the wins of the week, we know that you get what you focus on. We know this. If you don't already know, I'm just going to let you know that's how the world works. Things you look for, your eyes see. Things you don't look for, you just aren't paying attention, right? So we as entrepreneurs know that if we are focusing on our wins, then it changes our state of mind. And that might sound hokey, but I can assure you where your attention goes, your energy flows. Okay, for sure. So, any wins for the week you guys want to share? Let's start with Sandy. What do you have for us, Sandy?
So I got to get up to our family cottage that my grandpa built when my dad was little. So we're going on 4 generations now with my daughter. Got about 70 plants in the ground for my mom. My mom owns it now and got all the porch furniture out and got ready for spring. So it's definitely like home up there. And also got to listen to some great old recordings like the Dr. McCord that you were talking about on my 3 hour drive back and forth. So got to catch up on a few recordings on the way and stay connected to the business.
That's awesome. Having something family heritage like that is really cool to be a part of. I've got some thoughts in South Louisiana. I've got some property down there that I might just hold on to for the rest of my life and pass it on. So, Miss Lisa Balmers, what you got, Lisa?
So just a great weekend spending time with family and my grandbaby. So that was definitely a win. And I love having Isaac. He's on the call.
Oh, Mr. Our accountant, Mr. Isaac's here on the call. Oh, I see him. What's up, Mr. Isaac? Nice to have you here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go with Bambi.
So I wanted to thank Tori for her training last week because I applied it and I had a car full of people when my alarm went off. And I said, y'all have to hold on here because I have a call to make. So I did it and I'm gonna keep applying those suggestions. So thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. And look at Tori, that big smile you put on Tori's face. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I've had to set alarms to drink water because I don't like it. So I know some of you guys don't like prospecting, so maybe you just need to set some alarms to prospect. right? Let's go to Miss Hannah. We don't get to hear from Hannah too often. What do you got, Hannah?
So it was great seeing you last week in King of Prussia, but I had some blood work done on Monday, and always sort of had a high TSH, the thyroid thing. I
Yeah.
won't get on any medication. I took a few other supplements, but I've been out of one of them for like 3 or 4 months. But I've been on P84 since October, and my TSH was in the middle of the green. I was so happy. I told my doctor, and then he's complaining that he had vertigo. So I quick looked up on my uh, for a testimonial about vertigo, and I said, "Here, read this." He says, "Well, I'm having an MRI first before I do anything else." But he read my thing about Nerf too. So
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations for your own improvement. That's huge. That's really, really, really awesome. That's great. Um, Miss Terry, Dr. Terry Tomlinson, what do you got for us? You're muted, sweetie.
I have a testimony.
Nice. Let's
Um,
hear it.
okay, so you guys know that, well, anybody that really knows me well knows I'm really snotty all the time, and in more ways than one. But anyway, it's always been a digestive tract thing for me, and I've always known it. And I've done many, many things, and I've improved it in the last 45 years of studying natural health. But when P84 came on the line, I did the deep dive on it, and I knew that that was going to help me. And so initially it kind of did. I noticed it and so forth, but then it was just kind of back to normal. I'm here to tell you, however many months it's been, I feel like it's month 8, and I've taken it every single day. 100% gone. I mean, 100% gone. Fixed. That's fact. And I'm like over the moon excited about it, meaning I don't wake up and have to sneeze 9 million times, and I don't sneeze 9 million times every time I eat food, and on and on and on. It's amazing. And that is, like I said, however long it's been, I'm thinking I'm in my 8th month. Because after a while it just kind of runs together. I just automatically take it every single day.
And
Awesome.
that's P84 you're talking about.
You betcha. Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I take all the products, and they've been more helpful than anything in 45 years. And as you know, being a naturopath, I've got 650 products to choose. But activating the body, the thing is time is the deal. If you really understand that and you stay the course, it 100% works, because it depends on how many years you suffered. You know, for me, it's been many, many years of having the same problem and just adapting to the problem, fixing it a lot compared to when I was young and without medicines or anything like that. And but now it's shocking to me, even though
Awesome.
I thought it and I knew it. Shocking.
That's awesome. Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna share mine and then we'll jump into the call. I see some of the hands, but I think you guys will get a kick out of this. So, you guys, again, if you're new, these wins that we share are based on us learning the ability to transfer belief to other people, right? There's a skill. Some people don't like the word sales. So, but here's the reality. We all wearing clothes right now because someone sold them to us. You're sitting on something that someone sold to you. You're looking at a camera that someone sold to you. Everywhere, all parts of your life, we're either buying or selling. And I'm a firm believer that if you want to control your future, then you need to learn the skills of sales. Otherwise, you're going to always have to rely on someone who does know how to sell. And all of you are control freaks. I know you are. You're entrepreneurs. All of you want to be in control of your future. I want you in control of your future. One of the ways to control your future is for you to get what you want more times than you don't get what you want. So I found myself last Thursday morning at the airport in Philadelphia at 6:30 in the morning, and they told me I wasn't getting home on Thursday. And the real short story is I gave that lady a really big smile. I complimented her on how she's been handling the crowds so early. And I got home on Thursday. Even though when she first sat down and told me I was not getting home on Thursday. I don't know if you guys have understand the magnitude of what I pulled off in today's air travel world, but for me to get what I want, moved mountains that day. And it's something that I want all of you to look for ways to not just take the first response, not take the first answer, guys, because the first time someone responds to you is typically not the real issue. All right. So I just love that. I ended up getting where I told the lady, listen, here's how it happened. I said, I don't care where you fly me in the United States. I just really need to be home tonight. And that's all she needed to hear. So that gave her like the green light, right? So, I got some more stuff in the chat here. You guys can read the chats. Thank you guys for sharing your wins. I want to jump into our call tonight. Miss Sandy Tuggle is here. We love to share product stories or business stories. You guys know Sandy has been tremendously successful as a consultant in the business, an executive consultant. But we all have our own product stories as well. So, Sandy, would you share tonight your story for us?
Absolutely. And I have a lot of stories, but tonight I thought timing wise in the spring, it might be good to share a bit of my allergy testimony. And when I was about 3 years old, I went hyper autoimmune, and I was literally allergic to everything, in the food and in the environment. We did all kinds of allergy testing. And I was just hyper reactive. I was off the chart reactive to literally everything in the environment except blueberries, glue, oysters, and mushrooms. So literally everything was triggering me. Everything in the air, everything in the food. And my parents like did everything they could. We did allergy shots, we did all the things that were available. We're talking like late 70s, early 80s, when I was going through all this for years. And it just became part of me, right? It was almost the joke. My eyes were always red. My eyes were always puffy, runny eyes, itchy throat, red ears, and then eczema and different rashes and stuff like that were always popping up. I mean, I was a train wreck, really. And then as I got into my teenage years, like all this high histamine, I ended up with a lot of migraines, and it just kind of one thing led to another, right? So I ended up having a lot of toxic burden on my body from different medications and antihistamines and all these different things, and it was just all I knew because I never had found a solution. And as I got older, I really tried to, I spent thousands of dollars on functional medicine doctors and supplements and all the things, right? And I also had exercise-induced asthma. So as a kid, I couldn't even make it around the track without wheezing. And so this was just my life. Like I love to walk, but I always wanted to be able to jog and run, and I just couldn't do it. So as I started on our products, I know one of the doctors in our company once said, our bodies know what they need to do to heal before our mind might know what we want. And I think in my first 6 months, I started to realize like the eczema on my wrists was lifting. I even had eczema over my eyes, and that started to lift. My eyes were just like clearer. I wasn't itchy all the time. My throat wasn't itchy. And this was maybe like in the first 6 months. So I started to see a lot of improvements, I think, in the first 6 months. And then 2 years later, because I started the products in 2020, so it was 2 years later, our collagen came out. And I think I was
2020,
one of the people.
that was a good year. That was a good year for you to find the products. That was a
Yes,
really good year.
it was a really good year. So I was just so thankful, and it was hard to believe because all these things I have dealt with, for 45 years, started to have some improvement for the first time ever. And then when our collagen came out 2 years later, it continued to have huge improvements. And I was one of those people, I think, and now that we have all the studies and can kind of see maybe why, that it was really helping to calm that cellular stress. And I could actually break into a jog. So I would jog this mile and back every morning for the first time in my life. I could do
Oh
that,
my gosh.
which was amazing. So I just think back to how awful I used to be, and it was embarrassing. I mean, it like you know how it is when you get something in your eye and it won't come out and like your eye's running? I felt like that more often than I didn't, right?
Mm,
So I'm like, it's hard to believe now, but we're in allergy season in Michigan. There's pollen that's snowing. I've got all these people around me having like symptoms, and I'm good. So it's huge. And like Dr. Terry was saying, I've layered in all the products. Like my go-to non-negotiables are Trisynergizer and collagen. And since we've added P84, I felt like I breezed through like so much of the sickness and stuff like that that people were having around me, and I felt like knock on wood, I was so much better than I used to be.
yeah.
Um, so huge. So I'm so thankful. So I thought I would share my allergy story because we're kind of in that allergy season, and maybe it can help somebody else too.
Yeah, no, that's great. Actually, yeah, perfect timing. If you live anywhere where things are starting to bloom, there's always a lot of allergies going on. And a lot of you don't know this, but I suffered from sinus infections most of my adult life until 2010, about 6 months into the product. And I know because I used to do a ton of cycling, and you guys have seen those annoying cyclists that are on the road when you're trying to go somewhere fast and they're blocking the whole road. Well, that's kind of was, what we do. We do that because that way you don't kill us, right? We go in groups. And some of the guys would always know that they call it a peloton, right? And you have to pull out of the line. I'd have to pull out of the line to go blow my nose. And this guy goes, "Man, you're not getting out of line anymore." And so I'm like, "Oh, you're right." And it was just that, like, no more sinus infections from these products. So thanks for sharing that, Sandy. That's amazing. Thank you so much for being on. I hope that helped a lot of you guys. You heard the products that she's taking, you heard the timeline. So take note of that stuff. And we'll kind of take some of the story that Sandy had tonight, we'll edit it up. And if you guys want to share Sandy's stories, do you guys know where to find it? Boards. They go in boards. Okay. All of these stories, product stories, business stories, they go in boards so that you guys can share that. We're going to take this for the last few minutes of this call, guys, and hand this over to one of our amazing leaders, Jessica Paris. We affectionately, she nicknamed her. Well, no, she didn't. It was another person. We had so many Jessicas in our team at one time that we could not literally say Jessica because we would get six whats. So we had all these different Jessicas. And this happens to be J Lo, Jessica Lowe. She's, as I say, she's down to earth. She's a really down to earth girl. So, Jessica, I know you got some great information shared, prepared for the team. So, if you would take it over.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yep, Jenny from the block. So listen, here's what I want you to think about. Um, how many of us have hard stuff that happens to us? Just a question. Hard. Life gets hard a little bit. Yeah. Seasons get a little different. We talked about allergy seasons, but I'm talking like life seasons. Like you're like, I'm in a season right now. Anybody in a season right now where you got way too many things you're trying to juggle and trying to keep focused on and all the things, right? So we were talking today, and Brandon's like, I would love for you to kind of talk about how do you continue to move forward and stay focused, right? When life is challenging, when things are difficult. Some of you know a bit of my story. For those of you who don't, um, I I'm the nurturer, I'm the caring, I'm the rock of my family, if you will. I mean, my mom is really the rock at 89, like, come on now. But second in charge would be me. She's first in charge, but second in charge is me. And I recently have some folks living with me that I'm like, okay, I feel more responsible than I ever have before for success, for income, for growth, for all the things. And so it was something that hit me when he said that. I thought, let me do a little bit of research because it's not just about what I do, but I want to make sure that we all can embrace just a couple things, right? That I know I put to use, but I put to use because I've done my own homework to make it put to use, if that makes sense, right? It's not just J-Lo talking in a box. It's like what really does work. And so, first things first is I want you to think about time, and your time has to be intentionally spent. I'll say it one more time. It has to be intentionally spent in how you use it, and how you save it, and how you optimize it. It has to be an intention. And so I thought about that. And that's me. That wasn't anything I found, but that was me kind of coming up with that conversation of intentionality because I heard Brandon on the previous call. For those of you who are on that, and you got 2 doses of Brandon tonight, kudos, right? But he talked a lot about intention and what does it look like. So when we're talking about time, time is precious. Do we agree on that one? Like it's precious, like show of hands or thumbs up or, yeah, it's precious. Okay. So we know that it's precious. So if it is, then shouldn't we optimize it and put it to good use, right? So first things first, how many of us multitask and try to do a lot of things in a day? Anybody? Yeah. Who's a list doer? Like I'm going to put a list together. I'm going to get it all done. Guess what we call that? A wish list. It ain't a to-do list. Because that would be awesome if we could do it, but life gets in the way, right? So, first things first. Here's the first tip. Do fewer things. I said it. Not more things, fewer things, intentionally well. Are you with me? Because if we can truly, right, take 1 to 3 things that are super essential in our business and hyper focus in the space, do you agree that it might turn out a little bit better than if we're trying to do 45 things in the same space? Like, I mean, I'm just being honest, right? Who here believes the busiest person is always the one who gets the most done? Now, we've heard that a lot. I'm going to break a blueprint because I am the busy person. I'm super busy, right? But what I do know is that if I'm juggling too many plates, have you ever seen the kind of guy where they're juggling the plates? One's going to fall, and then two fall. And then before you know it, you're like, oh my God. So who in the chat box, busy doesn't mean productive. Kyla, you're 100% right. Busy doesn't mean productive. Okay, so we're going to get to productivity in a second because you're leading me there, which is awesome, Kyla. She's locked in, she gets it. All right. So look, doing fewer things means we have to face something, and this is from Dr. Cal Newport. So if you want to look him up, he's incredible. But here's what he said: you got to face what he calls the productivity dragon. The productivity dragon. Now, what does that mean? It means you have to identify what is the most important and essential thing that you need to do and lean into it and lean into it and lean into it and eliminate the other junk. So, watching, I don't know, Game of Thrones or what's the latest thing today, I have no idea, is not probably high on a priority list. But for some, it's like you're waiting for it to come on TV, correct? How many of us have eliminated TV? I know I have. College World Series is coming up. You might catch me for 1 or 2 games. I'm just saying. Softball's my jam. But at the end of the day, it's not 24/7 because there's 24/7 games, right? But I'm not doing that, right? Because there's more important things. So we have to make better decisions to do fewer things well. Fair? So that's number one, doing fewer things well, all right? See, our brains do work better when they're not juggling and rushing. Has anybody ever tried to rush and do something like, oh, I don't know, like when you were in school? Brandon, I know you love school. So when you were in school and you had to take a test, if you were rushing through it, I got a great grade or not such a great grade. But think about it. Rushing, you make mistakes. Sabrina's a teacher. Agree or disagree, Sabrina? A kid rushes through a test, psh, we're no different. If I'm trying to rush through and send a message, it probably doesn't have the right intention behind it. And it just looks like something that's not authentic, which I heard Brandon say in the previous training. We need to be authentic. So doing fewer things is key. All right. Now, we also have to prioritize consistency over perfection. Agree or disagree? Consistency over perfection. Now, here's a show of hands. Holly, I see you shaking your head. How many of us lean into perfectionism as a whole? We like things to go really well. Okay. So when we do that, we're hyper focusing on something that is unattainable versus what is attainable. Attainability is being consistent. Like that's what I control. So we go into this conversation of controlling the controllables. What do I control? How much effort I put in, the type of effort I put in, the time that I allot for something, and that I stay and stick to it. See, those are the keys to success here. Jaime, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I just saw a little claps. So thank you. So point number 2, we need to work at a natural pace. And what does that look like? See, J-Lo's pace may look different than Sandy's pace. May look different than Tori's pace. May look different than Lisa's, right? Your natural pace is yours, and you got to figure it out. See, if I was running a marathon, I am not going to run with Jessica Crate. Sorry. For those who know, she was an elite marathoner. I'm not doing it. Brandon, I'm not getting on a bike and try to race you because you're going to win. Like, why would I do that? But if you stand at the plate and I try to hit a softball, I might kick your booty a little bit. I know that that's my pace, right? So understanding these mechanisms, right, is super important. Working at a natural pace. Listen, any given day, if we're trying to go all out every day, tell me what happens and in the chat box, what is that? What happens there if we're going all out every day? What occurs? Burnout. It's not a hard concept. Has anybody ever felt burned out? In your job, in a relationship, right? So burnout happens. So when burnout happens, it's because we're not doing the right deep work. The one to two, three things that we need to do. We're not doing the deep work, right? We're doing the mundane things and saying, oh, I'm busy, i.e., Kyla, I'm busy but not productive. You see where the productivity dragon comes in? We're doing the wrong stuff. We're spending the wrong time on the wrong things. Okay. Third piece, only 3 bullets. Here's the third one. We got to optimize our energy. The entire last conversation that Brandon just had on our Freedom Factory, for those who were present, was about energy. It's no different here. In order to be intentional in our time, we have to spend the right energy on the right things. See, sometimes my energy needs to be Jessica needs to step away from this desk and go take a walk because there's too much in the brain, right? And so I need to do that. So, what is your moments? Where do you take your time to chill, right? Where does that look so that then you can pour into the space you need? Oh, I'm with it. Tori says she reads. Okay. Agreed. Okay. So in that space, so I'm going to give you a little tip in this optimizing time. In order for us to do our business effectively, we need to time block during your peak times. See, I am not a 7 a.m. person. Sorry. Now, I'm not saying I'm not up at 7 because I am at times. We got twins living here that are 1, so I'm usually up at 5:45. That's when they like to be up. I hate to be up then. Do not ask me to do something on the phone because I can't function. Who here functions well at 6 a.m.? Just show of hands. Who functions well at 6 a.m.? Ooh, Jaime. Okay, look, Amber's going like this to the husband because Amber doesn't, but Jared does. Who functions better around 10 a.m.? See, when we get on our leadership call, I'm like, I'm there. But Brandon's like, I've been up since 5:30, Jessica. That's 5 hours into my day. You see what I'm saying? But we have to time block the best times, right, for us to effectively do our job. I'm not going to call Dr. Terry, Dr. Terry, you're here and it's 9 o'clock and I know you've been up forever, but I'm not going to ask her to have an intellectual, very deep conversation with a prospect at 10 o'clock at night. We're not doing it because that won't be her productive time. Okay. So I love this. All right. So those three key points, right? Number one, what are we doing? We're eliminating a lot of stuff and we're making sure that we do what? We do fewer things so that dragon doesn't take over and derails our productivity. Second thing we need to do is make sure that we're working at the pace that makes sense for us and not looking at other people's pace because that's theirs. Who cares? Right? And then lastly, we need to optimize our energy so that when we are locked in, we are completely focused. I challenge each one of you that when you sit at your desk for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, whatever your blocks look like, that your phone isn't even on the desk. It's over there because what you need to do is have uninterrupted time to get stuff done. Because how many of us get distracted by literally going, is that phone going? The phone went, the phone went, the phone went. So you know what? This guy, Dr. Cal, you know what he said? He says, I do interval training with people. Brandon, you'd love this. Interval training. Okay. And he says, here's how you can train your brain. 20-minute blocks of time, 20 minutes, no interruptions. If you glance at your phone, you start your 20 minutes over of whatever the things are you're trying to get accomplished. Okay. And then after 2 weeks of doing this consistently, add another 10 minutes so that we work up to about 90-minute blocks of structured, really awesome time. Could you imagine having that in your day? Because that's why people say, I work at home and I don't have to sit in front of my computer for 8 hours. No, you don't. Because if you have the right blocks of time and you're doing it structured, you can work 4, get paid for 8. And isn't that awesome? In a traditional job. For us, huh, we're in a leverage model, man. We can leverage things out, can't we? All right. So think about what 20-minute block of truly uninterrupted time can be. All right. So I hope that helped. I hope that kind of set your standard as to being intentional with the times that we have and just implementing those 3 things so that we can accomplish so much more long term. So I turn it back over to you, Brandon. I hope that helped.
Thank you, JLo. No, that was awesome. That was fantastic. I love how you told us what you're going to tell us. You told us, and then you then came back and told us what you told us. That was awesome. I hope that landed for all of you guys tonight. I saw great value in that, and it's timely information as we close a month out. I don't know a more important time of the month to be focused and to be intentional with your time and to have those priorities with your time than after the 25th of the month. I'll be remiss if I don't say this. You guys, the amazing, incredible Dr. Tamia is with us on this Zoom right now. If you guys don't know who Dr. Tamia is, you need to know. This woman is amazing. And I was with her last week in Queens. It's just her story. We got to have her on this huddle one week and just let her run because she's a powerhouse. And actually, Miss Gloria is on here with us also. I wanted to share her story. We'll get to her story next week, hopefully, or when the schedule works for her. But I want you guys, as we close this call up this tonight, we are now beyond the 25th of the month, and you guys know this is the time of the month where we really, really get locked into our business because there are some certainties in our business. What I mean by that is the subscriptions have all run now, right? The 5th, the 10th, 15, 20, 25, those subscriptions have run. We know what volume has come in from our subscription-based business, which is phenomenal, right? Why wouldn't every human have a subscription-based business that they're on the receiving end instead of the spending end? Just makes sense. Now we know how much volume has to be produced to close the month out to reach our goals. Here's my first tip for you. If you're beyond, I'm going to say if you're beyond SC2 or SC3, try not to focus on your goals and try to focus on the people in your team's goals. One of the biggest mistakes I made in the beginning is I was too focused on me. I remember a night in New York. I'm not going to get too much into details, but I was so angry because the 25th subscription had run, the volume wasn't there that I thought was going to be there, and we were making our run to presidential. And I called my wife and I'm like, I am so angry right now that certain amount of volume didn't run. I said, I think I'm just going to come home. We didn't have any more meetings that night. And she said, no, Brandon, you're there. Go take care of business in New York and we will figure this out. Well, lo and behold, guys, 5 days later, we hit presidential. I don't know how, but here's what I will tell you. Well, no. What am I saying? Several months later, I came home. We did not hit it. We did not hit it. And I made a pact with myself that from that point forward, that was in November of 2013. I said, that's it. From this point forward, I am not concerned with my rank advancements more so than people on my team. And we intentionally went out and set goals for people in our organization to hit milestones. And that is the month that we hit the presidential mark. And so it's a mind game, guys. You guys know if you're running teams and building teams, sometimes we get a little self-absorbed in what we want and forget this is a team sport. Jessica played collegiate softball. If you didn't pick up what she was laying down there, that's a team sport. When you're playing a team sport, there are certain things that are more important for the overall good of the team, right? And so I'm highly encouraging you guys. Here's what I want you to focus on. This is how we close the month out, guys. Listen, if there's someone on your team that does not have their 300 point block, if they don't have 300 in sales, there is nothing more important for you to do than to go help them get to 300. Go, and there are people in your teams. If you got a decent sized team, guys, there are people in your teams that have not got to that point. There is nothing more important than every team member getting to 300. Okay. Beyond that, as you guys know, the next big rank would be SC1, Senior Consultant 1, right? Go focus in on those ranks. Help people get to those early wins in your organization, and you watch what happens to your goals. Okay. There's a checklist in boards. There's a month in checklist. So go take a look at that. It gives you some insight as to some of the things you need to be aware of to make sure you're closing the month out good. The company is constantly putting out promotions at the end of the month to help us do just that. And also, in less than 24 hours from now, I am going to be doing two of the Zooms. I'm going to be doing the presidential Zoom on Wednesday. So at 7 p.m. tomorrow Eastern and 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, I will be running the presidential sizzle calls. It will be a full-blown overview in a 30-minute period of time. So what a wonderful way if you've got some people looking or wanting to look or on the fence, get them on there and let us do some of the heavy lifting for you, right? Let us help you close this month out. Thank you guys all for being on here tonight. It's great connecting with you guys again. Have a great close to the month of May. And I hope to see all of you with a few of your friends at 7 p.m. tomorrow Eastern on that business presentation Zoom. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.